monthly article, which is probably the closest thing to the length of these, because they usually end up being like 10 to 16 pages, double spaced, times whatever. And I'll sit down and write. I've gone back to writing in a spiral notebook, which is what I picked up from Pat, because he used to take one in the cab to write his plays.
Pat was the original writer of these articles.
With us. Yeah.
With us. He was he was a Detroit cab driver, but he was brilliant, a brilliant guy.
He was a cab driver because he was a playwright. Playwrights don't make money.
Right.
So, you know, it's one of those kinds of things. But he always would carry a spiral notebook. I've gone back to that because, you know, I found writing longhand, just writing stuff out, plus that other extensive piece that I did on weird childhood trauma stuff, was all kind of like handwritten at first. Then going to the keyboard and typing, and it changes a lot, because you're not going to take everything that you write and what you wrote. It could be just fragments and, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then kind of really compose it in that first draft on keyboard. Just get it into the machine, you know, and if you don't type every word correctly, or the punctuation, or the spelling, just get it in the machine, because you can go back. Right? It's not a final product. At least go out for lunch or dinner and then come back. Or if you have enough time, leave it to the next day. And then just start at the beginning and go through and rewrite. Okay? So there we have, what, 3 levels already. We got just the handwritten manuscript stuff, notes, first draft into the computer, and then edit. There's 3. Usually before he comes in, nowadays, I go through it again. So I've gone through it 4 times. What I want to say, I try to catch a lot of these things, like, you know, keeping verbs together before he shows up, because I want to pay for his time to have him tell me to put commas in place and all that. So the big view of things. So you see, so I have given you at the 4th, you go through the whole thing, and he just hacks it to death. I don't give him red pens anymore, because it's too scary. I give him a blue or black pen. And anyways, he hacks the whole thing up. And so that's number 6. Then we sit down together usually, and we key in the changes. There's some things he's misunderstood that because it's economics, he's not an economist. I mean, he's been around doing economic editing since the late 80s with me, but he still isn't trained as an economist. So again, some specific technical thing of economics, and, you know, we know what it means, but nobody else does, kind of thing. So we have to kind of walk through that. So then the 7th level, which is keying in the changes, we're changing things on the fly as we're getting that done in the machine. Then we have everything's in, right? It should be done, right? So level 8 is where we usually take a break for a cup of coffee or something first, and then we sit down side by side, and depending on how my voice is one day or whatever, we may take turns reading, but we'll read through the entire thing. And when we hit the glitch, we stop, we fix it. Do that again. And that's sometimes it. However, we often will go on a 9th run through if we found too many little glitchy things where we had to move something or add something just to make sure that it's going to hold together, we'll read through the thing again.
Sometimes when we're reading through at these last stages, we'll see something that will strike a note with us and will want to add something more. We'll say, hey, this is really good. What about adding this? And so that will change the focus a little bit of the article. And we've done that on several occasions.
And sometimes it's on such a current issue that when I started writing it, something hadn't happened, and then, 2 days later, something hit the news that's relevant, about the market or something, like Bear Stearns, collapsing. I saw that coming. That's sort of close enough to the inside. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe we should just throw that in as an example. We hadn't touched upon it. Everything else was fitting so neatly together if you want to mess with it. But yeah, no, let's take the time and put it in because it's going to add to the final paper. So.
And oftentimes when we're reading through, John will mention an individual, and I will want to know more about that person. So we'll go to Wikipedia or some other Google source, and there'll be the information there, and there'll be something that we'll want to add in that makes that person even more credible or even more interesting to the readership.
Like Bob Shore.
Right.
Robert Shore, as spoken here at Wayne State, we kind of know who he is because we're economists. He's written a lot of stuff, the thing on the animal spirits and that, but not a clue. Until I handed him the book on animal spirits. So yeah, this is who the guy is. Well, if he doesn't know, chances are 90% of our readership is not going to know because they're too far away. And even, how many people out there go out on the street and ask somebody, do you know who John Maynard Keynes is? You may get a few more responses just because you're close to campus, but it's not. I mean, he was on the cover of Time magazine years ago, but unless you're old enough, you're not going to remember that. So, yeah, these kinds of things. Don't assume that the audience is going to know who or what certain things are. And sometimes it gets pretty mundane. This again, remember who your audience is. Now, it's a little bit easier for you because you just assume that I am your audience, right? So you're writing right at peer level. Okay.
However, remember that I'm reading it too.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about, probably, anything about what you're talking about.
He was an English major.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by English majors. My wife was an English major. And it seems like I'm the only economist amongst all these people who know how to write.
Yeah, but now you've learned how to
write.
But yeah, so John's right. I mean, it is a pure thing, but just for me and anyone else who reads your paper who's not into the same field, and just give an explanation, a short explanation of whatever terms you include.
Think of it also as an investment in a paper that we're really kind of, I'm just going to say, oh, right, it's a page paper, and blah, 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 blah. No, we're actually taking the time to do this. Why? A, because it's important from a competitive standpoint in the market out there, in the job market, also in the grad school market. You express some of your interest. We don't want to see, some high quality writing. What can we do coming in? So, yeah, it's like think of it as a calling card.